Alrighty, what is up, guys? Welcome back. Evan Aldo here. If you enjoy the content, leave a like and check out the Discord and some of the promos with exchanges down below. What I want to get into now is some macro analysis on Bitcoin and then get into more of the short term. I'm going to talk about Ethereum. The Bitcoin dominance hit 50% today, which is a big milestone for it if you're rooting for the Bitcoin dominance. XRP, I want to talk about Litecoin a little bit. ETH versus Bitcoin, which looks increasingly bearish, and the DXY a little bit. So got a lot to talk about. So I think I'm gonna go through a lot of information today, and I think it's gonna be very useful for some of the long term and the short term here. So let's get into it. So first thing I want to talk about, doing some macro analysis here, is the 3-week on Bitcoin right here. And the thing that I'm looking at on the 3-week is obviously you may get a trigger wave to the downside, and here might be, I mean, Bitcoin may make, who knows if it makes a lower low. It's kind of looking like most likely it'll make a higher low here, and then that'll be your bottom before kind of the next bull run starts. Most likely, it's looking most likely either a double bottom or maybe a slightly higher high at like higher low at like 18 or 17K, something like that. This line right here is my estimate of where the 400 weekly moving average will be as we get to these points, which would be a huge area for Bitcoin to bottom out at, because Bitcoin normally does bottom out at major weekly moving averages. 400 is going to be a huge one. Also, if you look back here, I mean, this bear market, nice double bottom, higher high. This bear market, nice double bottom, higher high. That's what we're looking at potentially to happen again. Doesn't really seem like, I don't see too much of a reason to believe this time would be that much different. If this money flow goes out, when it crosses into the red, that could be a good place where it may be a potential kind of double bottom, higher low right there. That's what I'm potentially looking at. I think the NASDAQ also, after the .com bubble, did, when the 3-week crossed in, it was the 18-day where that crossed into the red was the bottom, but the 3-week also, I believe that was probably, it crossed into the 3-week crossed in the red a little bit after it bottomed out, but in all, I mean, it was a good place to kind of get in. So that's what I'm potentially looking at right there. If we look at, obviously, the 2-week, money flow getting deeper, no signs of really turning around yet. It looks like you have more time to potentially go down, similar to this red dot over there. Also, the other thing I'm looking at too is the weekly. Got the red X there. That one was bearish. That one was bearish. 40% down. Almost all of them throughout Bitcoin's history have brought you down significantly. I mean, some of them once they confirmed. Well, yeah, even this one, once that confirmed, it came down. There was a bear market. Here, yeah, you came down farther once it confirmed. I mean, it's probably going to be most similar to, obviously, 2019 right there, and that was a roller coaster. I mean, these don't look like much, but this was like a huge jump up. I mean, look at, that was a 40% jump up, and then you crashed another 35%, and that was a roller coaster, which we might see. We definitely might see something like that throughout this year, this accumulation year. So keep that in mind. I think you're gonna, have a few months down here, and I think that we essentially are probably gonna see something with these gapped RSIs once they come together in a few months. September, October, November looks like a huge area for a potential higher low, double bottom, something like that. That's what it looks most likely. That's what it most likely looks like it's going to happen, in my opinion. Here was interesting. The RSIs, that was obviously the black swan, but RSIs coming together. Here, once the RSIs come together, once they really come together and come down, I think this time might be different. It's going to take longer for these guys to come together, and once they do, I think you're almost to the bottom there, or very close. Good place. So that's what I'm looking at right now. Let's move on to some of the lower time frames, like the 2-day here. Gapped RSIs coming up. This is your main kind of bullish case, and confirmed green dot. 3-day as well, that's kind of your main bullish case. Money flow trying to still come up here a bit. So these are your main bullish case. If you're able to hold where we are right now, 26.6 is a huge area, because that's your 200 weekly moving average, the place we're at right now. If you're able to hold that, that's going to be pretty big, and you may have a shot at coming up to, I mean, maybe 29K, this 28, 27, high 27s, or this area right here, this value area high, because the value area low is kind of right where we are right now. So we're able to hold that and keep going. You could definitely go up higher potentially. I don't know if that's going to happen. This could be, this jump up we had earlier today could just be a fluke, because one, it's still a holiday, long holiday weekend. Traditional markets are not open, so it's easier for the market makers to kind of liquidate all the shorts and get that out, and then just have that crazy volatility and punish the people who are trying to trade on a harder time. It's always going to be harder to trade on weekends and holidays. Kind of punish those people who are trying to trade on a harder time like that. Now, if we look at some of these time frames, you may get a bear div pretty soon. Money flow looks it's coming back up, kind of like here. Before we dump down a bit, that could absolutely be a high. Especially if you get that bearish div and you're losing this, you're losing 26.6, and your money flow starts to come out on the 2 hour, and the hourly money flow crosses into the red again. That's where things get a bit more bearish, and it just looks like this jump up above here was kind of a fluke, and price doesn't want to stay above this volume area low, and we're just going to come down and break back down to lower lows, break back down to this area again, 24.7, or maybe even go down to, I know there's another technical target, down below this at 23, go down to lower lows. And then the other thing too that we're seeing right now, some of these lower time frames, not really the 22-minute, it's not a bearish dip, but that's coming down. Money flow is starting to come down in the 16, and then you're playing with this point. This point's huge, 26.6. If you could hold that, that's pretty good, but your 3-minute now, money flow on some of these are coming down. So this is just a roller coaster, up, down, just a complete roller coaster. But if you lose this, especially the hourly, that's coming down, you may get here too. You may get a bearish div on the hourly pretty soon. That could be a pretty good short entry. You get that bearish div on the hourly. If that appears, that may appear pretty soon. Combined with 3-minute coming into the red, the 6 minutes. If the 6 minutes starts to come down more into the red, then things get more bearish, potentially a good short. I'll be posting more info about that in the Discord down below. So yeah. And if we move on to Ethereum here, so this was what I was potentially looking for to happen more in the short term. Drew this a little while ago. Money flow coming out on the 3 minutes. So Ethereum had a nice wick up. I actually almost got stopped out of a short with this wick up, but I'm still in it. Was playing around. Had a short open earlier that I signaled out today that didn't get stopped out. I did have a Bitcoin that short that got stopped, liquid that got stopped out, got hunted there, but the Ethereum one was able to kind of survive it. So added to that, didn't even signal that in the Discord because I was just messing around in the stream earlier. Wasn't like kind of the best idea, but it still is. I had the stop loss at 17.36 up here, a bit above this area, and we just got that jump up and down. So very hard day to trade. It's just a wild kind of day to trade. And, gapped RSIs here. Your VWAP's coming up. So the VWAP, gapped RSIs are bullish. Money flow coming out is bearish. I would side a little bit more with the money flow on this just because higher time frames, especially like that weekly, those gapped RSIs coming down, makes me think that we got to come down more here. That's what I'm really thinking. And then, this is a new development too. This just came up. Our 3-week is now printing a red dot here. Look at what happened in this one. This is kind of that trigger wave. This could even turn into a blood diamond theoretically. Maybe hopefully a blood diamond. We just crash down, rip the band-aid off. That could make somewhat of a lower low. I'd say kind of our worst, never say worst case scenario, but this is like where it would get like very, very good, like ETH. ETH is a really freaking good buy at $600. You're probably going to most likely get at least a 10x in the next bull run, I would think, if you could get in at low areas. I'm not going to wait that long because I don't know if we're going to go that low, but ultimately what I'm waiting for to potentially get in is going to be the 12-day and the 2-week. 12-day coming into the red, you're kind of almost there. That may happen within a few more weeks. Or if you want to wait a little bit more for Ethereum, I would say the 2-week coming into the red is going to be kind of like over here. That's going to be a good place to kind of DCA in. Beautiful place to get in around. Your average buy-in would be probably under $200 there. So obviously there's diminished returns in the next bull run, but that was a good place. If we look at some of the lower time frames here, your daily looks like it wants to come deeper into the red. Your VWAP's coming back down. Your 12-hour VWAP crossing back down. So it's more looking like this could get a blood diamond trigger wave. This looks like it wants to come deeper into the red to the 8-hour. It's more looking like this jump up was just a liquidation hunt, just a stop loss hunt, just to get out a lot of people today. And now we're going to, fulfill kind of the bearish thing and come down farther. Green dot there, money flow coming up. I guess that's a little bit more your bullish case in the 4-hour. Gapped RSI still, so it doesn't mean too much to me. The 2-hour money flow is still coming up. So these look like you may have a little bit more gas in the tank. Hourly money flow coming down. That's where you start to get more bearish. And you're about to get another kind of trigger wave, maybe another blood diamond, another 30. So that would be more of the bearish case there as kind of as well. So yeah, I mean, that's ultimately, yeah, and that's crossing into the red right there on the 3 minutes. So that's ultimately what I'm looking at. Hard day to kind of predict, especially, with the holiday, lower trading volume, all of that. But this jump up, it seems like you're gonna kind of keep coming down farther here potentially. So that's ETH right now, and then Bitcoin dominance, kind of as me and just probably some other smart people predicting as well. I've been seeing, coming up a bit higher. 51% is technical target out of this kind of bull pennant or whatever. We have been playing around with 50. We got above 50 a little bit today. I think you're gonna get there. I mean, regardless of Bitcoin pumping, Bitcoin dumping, the market pumping, dumping, it just seems like the alts are being sold and put into Bitcoin. People are giving up on alts, and that's probably going to be the trend at least for the next couple of months. I think you're at least going to get up to the mid 50s here. A lot of people are saying 60. I think that's absolutely a high probability as well. I mean, right here, when money flows like this, you jumped up, 25% there. I just want to see kind of, from the bottom there, 25%. Yeah, it'd bring you just about around 60%, which I think is going to be a pretty big place. That's maybe where we'll, kind of end up topping out. I mean, over here it topped out in September of 19. So it was a pretty good place to obviously start getting into alts right there, DCAN right there. So it could be maybe a little bit more delayed this time. Maybe instead of September, it's kind of October, November where you kind of top out. But history repeats to a certain extent. I think you're just going to keep going up for the next few months, and then we'll start to, kind of hit traffic. And then that's going to be your big place to start getting into alts. Now, XRP, what I wanted to show you guys, been talking about this for a while. I mean, this pattern here, and then you crash down in 2019, gapped RSIs right there. You have a bearish div right here. RSIs are gapped. Bearish div right there. RSIs are gapped. Looks like you're going to kind of come down. Those RSIs split, gapping, coming together here September, October. That's where potentially I think you'll see a bottom. I don't know if you're going to come down that far, but I think 30 cents, if not, 20 cents, somewhere between probably 30 and 20 cents you'll get to. I don't think you're going to, go below 15 cents or go below your pandemic numbers. So, yeah, that's what I'm looking at right there. Litecoin as well, blood diamond on the weekly. Looks like these RSIs are just going to kind of come together here. And look at how they were coming together here, and you still came down. Look at where they really came together fully and turned colors, got close to the zero line right there. That's what I think we may see happen, something kind of similar to that over the next few months, October, November, September, maybe at the earliest. That's what I'm kind of thinking, bearish kind of until then, based on what I'm looking at in these time frames. ETH Bitcoin, showed you guys this earlier, but another blood diamond on the weekly. I think that this is going to come down to at least kind of this area, 0.054. It could come down quickly, especially if we get a big drop down for the whole market. This could come down quickly down to here, and I think that may be a good place to start, maybe getting into ETH. But you got a technical target. If you break out of this channel, you got a technical target right, down here at like 0.03. So that's a big, that's going to be almost a 50% correction against Bitcoin for ETH. I don't know if you're going to go that low, but it's absolutely possible here. Last thing that's interesting to look at, the Dixie looks like it's kind of in trouble. You got double blood diamonds in the weekly. The money flow doesn't look good. Your main hope here, I guess, is kind of holding 100, and then the weekly or monthly VWAP coming up. You also got the 2-week confirmed a green dot. I'm curious about the 3-week real quick. Does that have a green dot? Now you got a red dot right after. So it's not looking as good as it has been looking. I would kind of, for the sake of, getting into alts at better prices and all this, would hope this has a jump up here. Based on a daily money flow, there is still a little bit of hope. Let's see if this confirms or not. Let's see if this blood diamond confirms. This may not confirm. We could get a big kind of jump up, especially if traditional markets have a pullback this week, as well as crypto. So let's keep an eye on that. I'm not panicking yet about the Dixie, but, all it means, look, it's a good time to DC into Bitcoin. We'll get to ETH and alts, not financial advice, but we'll get to ETH and alts when the time is there. So ultimately, it's all about following a strategy. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but yeah. Anyway, guys, subscribe to the channel, like the video, check out the promos down below for FAIRDESK and MEXC. The one for FAIRDESK ends tomorrow. You get a $100 trading bonus if you deposit and make any type of futures trade on there. And MEXC, we're doing trading competition as well. So check those out. I negotiated both of them for you only with my link. Also check out the Discord as well. All right, guys, have a good one. Goodbye.